right, so now we are in the first step of our construction. The first step is about taking out the hood and then understanding the mechanics inside and electronics. We will need some tools. So one, we need a small screwdriver with a Phillips plus uh, screwdriver mount. So this is required for places where a longer screwdriver like this cannot go, and of course these have got a lot of pins. So one we found is this Chinese made screwdriver, which is quite good. It has got a lot of bits inside, so you can change according to the type of screw which is being used in your vehicle. And we will also need a screwdriver which has got a long shaft, because some of the screws are basically mounted deep inside the plastics, so this one can't go there, so we will need something like this, a longer one, to kind of reach there. We will also need a nose plier just in case something needs to be squeezed or turned. Most likely and hopefully we will not use it. We will need a wire stripper also, because most of the times when you take off the remote control vehicle, there will be a lot of wires coming from the chassis and powering the electronics. So we will sever the hood from the chassis for now, but in such a manner that when in future we have to put it back, uh, we cut the wires in such a manner that we can identify their pairing by the colors. So that's very important, because maybe when we are putting it back we forget the connections. So we will cut the wires in such a manner that we leave a small portion um, near the electronics and rest of the portion on the hood, so that it is easy to kind of match the colors and rewire them. So let's start the process. First we will take off the antenna. So this has to be taken off, the plastic sleeve. So we take off the antenna, and then my son will take off the screw. So what happened was, we took this car for a test drive, and during the test drive itself, the hood kind of came loose from the back side, but there is still one screw left. Uh, so luckily it didn't break too much, but I think we tested it quite a lot. But anyways, we were fortunate that the chassis is intact, and we should be able to mount the hood back again once we are able to put all the electronics in place. Okay, so now Mokshim will unmount the hood from the chassis. This screw. This is So Mokshim is now unmounting the screw. So we are unscrewing one of these screws here, which connects the chassis with the hood. Done. So here we need the screwdriver with a longer shaft. At the back we required this one, but now because the rear screws are already broken, so we just have one screw to undo here. But when somebody else will do, we will have to get rid of at least 4 or 5 screws. It all depends on the design of the vehicle. Alright, so now you can see that the hood is separated from the chassis. What we'll do, we'll take out the antenna wire. So this is the antenna wire. We don't have to cut the antenna wire because it is connected to the electronics in the chassis. All the electronics are inside this chassis box. We will open it in a little while. But to basically make sure that we do not, this hood doesn't disturb us quite a lot. Can you hold it for me? What we will do is we will cut these wires, which basically they do nothing but just power the LED lights in the front. So we will use a wire cutter, And the way we will cut them is that we will leave a small portion of wire on the PCB here and rest here, so that if we want to join them later, we can join them and we don't have to worry too much, because we can pair them back by the color of their wire. So we'll cut them here. So one wire goes off, second one goes off, third, fourth, and now the hood is completely segregated from the vehicle. Uh, the number of wires that a vehicle has that are connected to the electronics in the chassis, they all depend on what kind of stuff they have got on the hood. For us, we were lucky that we just had two lights in the front, but sometimes they have tens of wires. But I've seen mostly they are used for driving lights and other fancy stuff on the car. So the hood is now separate. We will need hood later in the project, so we will put it on one side for now. And now let's focus on the electronics part. So what my son has done is that he has brought a magnet, so that all the screws that are being taken out, we can stick them on the magnet so that we don't lose them. So we put that here for now, and let's bring the chassis in front and let's understand the chassis now. So this is the back side, this is the front side. The front wheels are steerable. What he is doing now is that he is taking off this small PCB which was acting like a bridge between the wiring on the hood and the circuit inside. So what we will do is we will also cut this off for now, and now this small bridge goes away. This bridge has got nothing inside, just copper wires, so no other circuit is there. So I think we might get rid of it, but we will preserve it for the moment. You never know when we will need it. Next is to open this small lid here, so that it will expose all the electronics, and once we have done that, we will show you exactly how the current system is working, and we'll also talk about what we plan to do by replacing the circuit inside. So let's open the lid. So there are 4 screws here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So Moksham will unscrew them now. So the good thing is that whatever screws he is taking out, he is pasting them on this magnet, so we will not lose these screws. So in this, right now what we are doing is we are only taking off those screws which are enough for us to expose the electronics. We are not kind of taking out all the screws. There are hundreds of screws in the chassis. We are only taking those off which are enough for us to expose the electronics inside. So I think that, yeah, so the first thing is there's one more, yeah, okay. You can use the nose plier to hold the screw. Okay, so this is the use of nose plier. Sometimes screws do not come off easily. So next is to take off the lid. So now you can see the lid has come off, and now all the electronics inside the vehicle are exposed. What we will do now is we will bring the camera closer to the electronics, and then we will talk more about what's going inside this vehicle as of now and what we plan to do next.